Morning, Dan and Amy, and the off-ramps are now back on. They're back open, and city is cleaning up, or I guess will be shortly after a good 6 hours of lawlessness in River North and the Gold Coast that involved many arrests, many injuries, many stores destroyed or looted. And what is the response from the power structure in Chicago? Well, we'll have that as they're about to have a presser on the topic.
And guess so, 100 people were arrested so far. Dozens of police officers injured. That's what I heard from Chicago police. And guess what? Lori Lightfoot, the dictat that she is only allowing dictat, is only allowing a pool reporter in. They're not letting other reporters from all these other media outlets in. Because I don't know what she's worried. Well, come on.
The entire Chicago press corps shares a brain, so, who cares? Let's see what she has to say, and we'll get to it. For more on the topic and a perspective from the South Side, we're pleased to be joined again by Latasha Fields, who's not only a South Side resident, she's also a minister. She's the founder of a Christian Academy and director of Christian Home Educator Support System. She's also the state coordinator of Illinois for parentalrights.org. Latasha, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I appreciate you guys having me.
So how did you react to what you saw and heard this morning in terms of the lawlessness in the city?
I guess I have the same reaction. What is wrong? What is going on? What is wrong with the Black community? What is this all about? Many thoughts. I'm pretty sure, just like everybody, many thoughts. This is insanity. It's just absolutely insanity.
And from people that were there, they said the majority of the crowd is 14 to 21-year-olds, and most of them are kids that need to be in school in the fall, need to have structure and to have something to live for and something to cheer for and believe in.
Yeah, you're right. Because even months back when they were looting, my husband and I pretty much got caught up in one of the looting, and I was astounded because the kids were literally just what you're saying. Teenagers were jumping out the car and they were looting the gang store and the pot dealers, etc. in the community we're living in, and I was just disheartened. Totally disheartened.
Latasha, we're having we're having a little trouble hearing you. Are you on speakerphone by chance?
No, actually, let me get off this. Is this better?
No, it's worse.
Worse.
Latasha, are
is
you
this
there?
Better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, better.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So anyway, you were just talking about the nature of kids being in school.
Yeah, it's absolute insanity because as we've seen a few months back when they were looting, like Amy said, it's just teenagers. My husband and I kind of got caught up in the traffic, and it was just tons of kids just jumping out the car and literally destroying businesses. Mm-hmm. And I am in full agreement that these kids need structure. We need to be asking where are their parents, where are their dads, where are their families, and as I've said many times, we need to really point the finger to some accountability. Where are their parents? Are they even do they even realize what their children are doing?
And what you hear in terms of the rationales, it's this is in a response to the Chicago police involved. Did we lose Latasha? Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll effort Latasha back. We'll come back.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You know what you could do? You could completely rid of all the grass in your backyard and turn it into a gigantic neon green trampoline park. Or you could turn all the walls in your home office into a massive vending machine display where only you know the special code and only Rolos and Fritos pop out. Hey, it's Ryan from United Faith Mortgage, and one thing we're seeing from hundreds of families across the country is the cash out refinance. Home values have gone up significantly the last few years, leaving many families with the ability to cash out the equity in their home to use for life. Usually it's for normal things like paying off credit card debt or doing home upgrades, but it could be for a vending machine room. Just saying. If you're curious of your options, we'd love to help. We are United Faith Mortgage.
See our story and read how our direct lender advantage can often save your family monthly and lifelong money at UnitedFaithMortgage.com.
Woohoo!
United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York. NMLS number 1330. Ryan Vrecka, NMLS number 65233. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy rejoining with Latasha Fields. She's a co-founder and overseer of Our Report Ministries and Publications, founder and teacher of a Christian Academy and director of Christian Home Educator Support System. She's a Chicago South Sider, and we were talking about the violence and looting and smashing and grabbing that was going on for 6 hours from about midnight to daybreak in Chicago. We also have all kinds of reports of individual stores and businesses being torn apart. There was allegedly a homicide during the Lawlessness, and a security guard shot at Clark and Hubbard. I think it was initially reported as a police officer, as a security guard. He was taken to Northwestern. Okay. Latasha, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I had a bad disconnection. But as I was stating with this, I think, and a lot of people may not want to hear it, but I think a lot of what we're seeing with our youth, it has to be a part of these progressive liberal policies that are just kind of subverting and undermining the black family structure. There's no other explanation of what's happening. And as you stated, you got the mayor and you have other politicians that are basically turning a blind eye to this because they basically incentivize this type of recklessness, this type of behavior from our kids, because there's no real accountability to what these kids are doing. You know, young, not just kids, teenagers, young adults. This is just insanity.
I mean, is it racist to note that most of the looting that was captured by phones or by TV cameras is young black men and women? Is that racist to note that's the fact?
No, you have to state the truth. No, it's not racist. If that's what it is, that's what it is, and it's not racist. And that's what I'm saying. Black people have to wake up and realize that, again, a lot of these things, a lot of these behaviors that we're seeing can be contributed. They say it's racism. They say the country is innate with racism. No, the country is innate with black supporting progressive liberal policies that literally work to oppress our communities. That's what the problem is. It's not that the country is innate with racism. It's the policies that most black, you talk about of the black community vote against their own demise. That is our problem because, again, with those kids, where are the parents to protest? Where are the communities protesting to say, this is enough? Where is the, if you will, the black village for real to hold accountable to what's happening with our children in these communities? These are policies. These are racist policies that have contributed to this demise in the black community. It makes no sense.
And
I'm black. My husband's black. I have teenage kids. I know a lot of black families. Our children are not out there destroying things. So I see what's the difference. What's the difference in a black family like mine, or et cetera, and those black families? We can have that discussion. What is the difference?
Right, and so your black family and the black families with whom you speak, do they see police as the enemy? Do you want more police or less police on the South Side?
We need more police because, again, as a black family, I'm not afraid of white people. I'm not afraid that my teenage son that's 13 years old will be killed by a white boy. I'm afraid that my 13-year-old son that's black will be killed by another black boy. So our fear, if you will, is not the racism that's supposedly be in this country. And it's not that you don't have tenets of racism, but that's an individual choice. So we are more afraid of our own black community. So that is ludicrous to talk about defunding the police. Like, for an example, Dan, I live in Washington Heights. I don't feel safe taking my children to a park in my community. So I pretty much go to white communities to take them to play and swing and slide. Because, again, I'm afraid that shooting may just break out. A drive-by shooting may just break out. And so we need, because we're the most vulnerable, we need police protection. Because if something happens, well, I can't pull out a policy that states that you defund the police to protect my family.
So
it's insanity.
Right. So how can, I mean, as the teacher of a group of a Christian Academy and director of a Christian Home Educator Support System, What can we do to help our children, especially this fall when they're supposed to be, quote unquote, e-learning?
Yeah, with my position on e-learning right now and at this point, because we know and we see a lot of the history being revised, a lot of the revision on history, because parents have to realize a lot of what we're seeing, especially in the Black community, is being subtly taught through the curriculum now. So you got Sean Ford calling for a revision and a cancellation on history. So you have these progressive liberal policies that's taken over our history, because we understand our children are in school, capitalizing $15,000. So they're not being educated, they're being indoctrinated. And so now with this e-learning, we've been meeting with parents. And so my question, I've been meeting with teachers and educators, what are you going to do about this inclusive curriculum? What are you going to do about all this social indoctrination where the left have this liberal curriculum that they want to enforce on our children? And basically, especially with Black Lives Matter at school, that curriculum, they want to teach this. They want to incentivize and subsidize this and cause our children to be Marxist and have anarchy and unpatriotic dogma. And that is the result of this, because when our children are home with us after 3 o'clock or on weekends, bulk of their training, bulk of their character development is coming from public education system. So parents, now that they're e-learning, I would advise them, sit in front of their computer with your children, listen to what they are teaching your children. Pay very close attention to this false narrative of equality and this inclusion curriculum. Pay very close attention to what they're going to be teaching your children.
Yeah, there was some teachers that are now concerned after they promoted e-learning. Now they're concerned that there'll be people snooping who aren't the students on what they're actually teaching remotely, on screen. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. This Matt Walsh picked it up. This series of Twitter posts by a public school teacher says, we don't want siblings and parents watching what we're doing when we're instructing via the internet our students. Well, why wouldn't they want
exactly.
that? Why wouldn't they want to see what you're saying and what you're doing and what you're teaching?
Yes.
What's the big secret?
Very anti-parent. So we got to understand, we live in a society today that's very anti-parent and very anti-American. And so why, again, that's a very good question. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they want to continue to portray that this country is insidious racist. They want to dismantle the Western prescribed nuclear family. They want to teach these liberal policies to your children. They want to teach this inclusive curriculum with this homosexuality. That's what they want to teach. That is why. Because, and then I read the tweet. The tweet even said the guy say his chief concern are conservative parents. That's what we mostly concerned about, conservative parents. So it's an anti-parenting system. So my question would be this morning, parents, well, not a question, a statement. You need to heavily consider dropping your children from government schools. They're already at home. Reach out. There's a plethora of resources available. Reach out, connect with homeschool organizations and groups like mine, wherever you may be in the United States, and get information on how to teach your own children, because this is absolutely ludicrous.
She is Latasha Fields, co-founder and overseer of Our Report Ministries and Publications, founder and teacher of a Christian Academy, and director of Christian Home Educator Support System. Latasha, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you always for having me.
And we just found out from Chicago police, 100 people or plus arrested and 13 police officers injured, 2 seriously. We'll be right back.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
You take for granted the doors and entryways you use every day to get in and out of your facility. They do their